Imagine I did my clown makeup too. That'd go crazy. Okay, Men of Gotham. This is a massive amendment to what I said in my last Harley Quinn video because Suicide Squad Isekai has shown me that I was so fucking wrong, and I retract every fucking excuse I've ever given to writers for not understanding Harley's character because Suicide Squad Isekai actually made me realize how easy it is to write Harley Quinn well. And what's insane is that in this show, she's still with the Jonkler. And it's actually like fucking engaging and interesting and awesome and not just disgusting. Like, I know I'm just raving here, but seeing this portrayal of their relationship work so well because one, they actually have chemistry. Two, it felt like we were seeing the Joker through Harley's eyes. Like, the way he looked, talked, his weird affirmations of love, all felt like we were obsessed with him ourselves and almost felt disgusting because you, the audience, know that he's the worst and we shouldn't be liking him. But like, it's kind of impossible not to in this. It's so impressive that they actually figured it out instead of just trying to like skip over it as every other writing team does. They also really made it work by making them feel like a duo, but with Harley still clearly a henchman. Like, he's making the plans and monologuing and all that, but when they talk to each other, the writers feel free to give them actual banter. So it really let Harley's character shine, and we see how they kind of match each other's freaks. We talked last time that usually what writers do, and why is usually the most boring part of Harley's history, is they make Harley either like 100% victim or they just kind of like brush over it like it didn't really even happen. And both versions take away from Harley's character because they don't let her have in-character responses to what she's experiencing. And when Harley's without the Jonkler, which she is for most of the show, she brings him up just enough to show the control he has over her and her obsession without making it like her entire personality. And what's so interesting is that when Harley's put into leadership positions, you can see that she almost mimics the Joker's leadership style, but in her own Harley way. Like, we see that when she needs to think of a plan, she doesn't trust herself, so she flashes back to some random thing the Joker said. And it makes so much sense that the nonsense he's monologuing can only be understood by her. So it makes both his weird ramblings relevant and uses it as a way to showcase Harley Quinn in situations that we've never gotten to see before. Because she's usually just there to be like pretty girl. Like, it's so sick. And this is seriously just like the tip of the iceberg. Harley's character is insanely well written. I'd say almost perfectly written. Like, she quips a lot, but it's never out of place or cringe. She does random super Harley things like adopt a baby dragon, but she's never like hashtag lol random. And what makes it so uniquely compelling is that she's also clearly insane, but also clearly super smart, but also aware that she's smart. And it almost comes across as if she's every moment choosing to be insane. But then again, we see clearly how the Joker has a toxic control over her mind, because when the Thonkler tries to go into her mind, he has to go through the Joker in the mirror and then gets defeated like it's Arkham Knight. It's almost like a horror movie. The way we go into first person, how the Joker is holding Harley over the vat, and then we blink and he's holding us, the Thonker, and Harley is like hugging the Joker, like fully embracing this new life. And then we get destroyed by it. Like, I don't know. There's layers there that someone smarter than me needs to talk about. Jesus Christ. It's really just amazing because I've never seen anything that can balance literally every aspect of Harley Quinn's character and backstory without overdoing anything. Like, once again, the show literally had a baby dragon, but knew when to let the bit go and when to bring the dragon back for maximum impact, while also using it to give Harley another character arc. And just like the way we see the Joker through Harley's eyes makes me so excited, more excited than I've ever been before, to see how they break up and how that image of him changes. Like, usually that arc is just seen as like a cringe formality to writers, something they have to get through. But it seems like Suicide Squad Isekai is setting up season 2 as their breakup. And while I really hate to say this because I wish shows would just give us complete stories, I'm hooked on Isekai, and I really hope it gives us a second season. On their website, they mentioned that it's becoming like a digital manga thing, but I can't find it anywhere. And their website hasn't updated since 2024, so hashtag Suicide Squad Isekai season 2, please, let's get it happening. And I'll be like Peacemaker, Deadshot, Nanaway, Rick Flag, the animation itself, it's all goated. Harley's cool too, or whatever. But this video has actually all just been a prelude to talk about the greatest character of all, Clayface.
His eye! The elusive Shanties! Clayface! La 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 la!
Okay, so I'm just going to be so for real. I really had to convince myself to start watching this show. I thought it was going to be a cringe cash grab, capitalizing the popularity of isekais, and like, despite my problems with the Harley Quinn show, it was pretty much perfect for me and my interpretation of a lot of the characters. I wasn't really ready to go back to what I thought would be the normal interpretations of the characters, especially because I thought they were just seeing this as a chance to capture a market. So they didn't need to make good characters, just have good visuals. I thought Harley Quinn was going to be annoying and objectified. Clayface was just going to be a big scary mud man. Oh, and I had just finished Peacemaker, and I didn't think they'd ever put a character like that in a show again. So imagine my joy when the first episode didn't just have the best animated interpretation of Joker and Harley's relationship, but also had a true thespian Clayface and Peacemaker anime monologuing about peace. He let her flies in on an American flag, which, look, I'm not an America respecter at all, but I gotta say, that made me feel some type of way. Suicide Squad Isekai has to be the best Suicide Squad property just because of how clearly it loved every single character and how it made us love every single character. I only realized midway through how attached I had become to the characters when they did the Clayface fake out. Because when it comes to anime, I've learned to never get my hopes up. My Hero Academia's fall off broke me, and thankfully, because characters die left and right in Suicide Squad, I knew I didn't have to try to get attached. And I thought I wasn't attached until Clayface's head blew up. And I legitimately paused the show to like take a lap around my room. I was goddamn distraught. I was questioning everything. I was like, fuck, of course they'd kill him. He's too perfect, and I'm sure people were getting annoyed. And when I doubted that he was really dead, I was like, I mean, he's made of clay, but surely Amanda planned for that when she made his bomb. There's no way he survived. I fucking opened YouTube and watched the Harley Quinn show compilations of Clayface like he was my pet that died. I was going through the stages of grief. Sorry. Bad reference, bad reference. So needless to say, when he came back and I cheered, I realized how attached I was to this show. It was almost healing. I was ready to be heard again, but literally and genuinely, not once did this show ever leave me disappointed, which is crazy because I'm literally the ultimate hater. I think my life was changed when I realized one very specific aspect of this incredible show. We are introduced to Clayface wearing a power dampener, so he's in his human form at first. But that implies that unlike other versions of Clayface, whose base form is his monster form, this Clayface's base form looks like a sexy actor. Which means one thing, that unlike other versions of Clayface, where he's kicked out of acting for being a big clay monster, this Clayface is kicked out of acting simply because he just sucks and is annoying. That's fucking awesome. I imagine he just likes doing crime, which is why he was sent to prison. But the fact that he's not held back by being a clay monster just gives him so much life to me. And I don't know if I like it more, but it's a change that I really enjoy for this show. And Isekai really gives good shit to every character, from the basic guys that are on every Suicide Squad team like Rick Flag and Deadshot, to the beefy monster dudes like King Shark and Peacemaker. You know, I recorded another version of this video where I went into great detail about my love for Rick Flag, how they changed Deadshot so that I left every episode being like, I think Deadshot's one of my new favorite villains. But because I don't use a script, when that video was lost because I didn't press record, A lot of that stuff was lost too. And I can't for the life of me remember those really, really smart language words I used to describe why it was so impactful. So I'm going to come up with a new metaphor, or a new example that I hope hits in the same way what I said before could have. This show is so phenomenal because I feel like it's the only time I've seen a group of misfits come together where I really wasn't expecting them to come together, and we watched their progression as a team grow slowly, naturally, and never once did I feel like, okay, and now in the next scene they're going to go from like kind of antagonizing each other to being best buddies. It never felt like that. So when we instead were actually slowly watching them give each other nicknames, like how they kept calling King Shark Nana, it melted my soul. This show is really making me start to think that we're through the DC Century of Humiliation. Gone are the days of charismaless square men monologuing to each other while nameless villains die in the background. I'm looking at you, Justice League War. I do have one smart thought, and we're about to get to it, because all I want to say right now is that I've completely changed my tune from the last video. I now think Harley Quinn centered stuff is the only thing keeping DC afloat. Give me more of it. I hope they not just double down on the Harley Quinn renaissance, but triple down. Or at least I hope that they keep whatever team is making this and send them to work on like Teen Titans or whatever. Because here's the point. The way this show managed to balance a team blew me away. In my screenwriting classes, we are told whenever you have a team show to make sure to give each character a moment. And the second I heard that was the second I saw Joss Whedon's impact on modern screenwriting and its folly. Because once you see dialogue and action in terms of moments, you stop having a team. And instead you have individuals who sometimes stand next to each other and occasionally get to say a quip that any of them could have said. And I don't think any movie is a better example of this moments style writing than Justice League War in that era of the DC animated universe. And sometimes the movies do it well, where each scene is basically an action scene focused on a different character. It kind of works for me sometimes when I want to turn my brain off. But at its most common, it's just characters stand around, they each say a one-liner to each other, and then enter plot mode, where they do the things they need to do and only return to quit mode when the movie is ready to end. And I personally see this as a symptom of old Joss Whedon, but he at least kind of hides it better by just having infinite quips. And then for Suicide Squad Isekai, it was the first time in so long in a team show that I was never internally clocking moments. The dialogue just flowed like people talking. Incredibly quirky people talking. And I wish I could describe how they do it, but straight up, the writers are just better than me. And I'm a really vain writer, so that's hard for me to admit, but literally, genuinely, I have no idea how they make it so natural. I hate rewatching things, but I think I'll be rewatching this for like research purposes. And the fight choreography literally clears every other animated property I've seen. It's not to dunk on the recent DC animation, the Tomorrowverse, the one before it, but it's literally just character runs in with a punch, then that character gets blown back to a wall, then other character runs in a punch or occasionally uses like a random superpower. And they also have this like kind of random magic system that I thought wasn't going to have any rules, but turned out to be more grounded than most anime magic systems. And the setting too, like it's supposed to be almost like a joke, like they go to generic isekai world. That's what Clayface says. But even in generic isekai world, I don't know, I find this so much more engaging than any of the isekai I've been watching. If I were to watch anime, of course. I find the characters and the way they interact with the world and the way the characters native to this world live in the world so engaging. Like, they give these orc prisoners an arc. TLDR, this show really could have just been a cash grab that capitalized on basic anime tropes. The creators collect a paycheck and call it a day. But instead, it felt like the writers saw all the pitfalls the show could have fallen into, like the Green Goblin mask calling out to it, and decided instead to rise above and evolve on those anime tropes. It felt, in my opinion, exactly like what I think anime's next steps are, which is insane for a show that's just here to market HBO Max. Which makes me sad because now that HBO Max is marketed and the website hasn't had any updates since August 2024, it doesn't look like there's hope for Suicide Squad Isekai Season 2. Which also means that there's no hopes and dreams in my life. I will find that webtoon though, and maybe someday in some corner of the internet there will be like a Suicide Squad Isekai merch drop. Until then though, let me just say that you gotta watch this show. I'm literally basically begging you to. Like, dog, the squad even gets a magical girl transformation sequence. What more could you want? If I keep ending videos positively like this, people are gonna stop thinking this is a YouTube channel about depression. I guess I'll end it here. Please watch Suicide Squad and hashtag Suicide Squad Season 2. Hashtag that will get no motion ever, but I need all of us to unite like those Snyder Bros did. Until then, bye!